Electrical Measurements and Instrumentation, Lecture 5. Types of ammeters, voltmeters, electrical measurements. See, ammeters and voltmeters are classified as moving coil in that permanent magnet moving coil type, dynamometer type. And second one is moving iron types. In that we have traction type, and second one is repulsion type. There are two types in moving iron type of instruments. Third one, hot wire type. Fourth one, induction type ammeters and voltmeters. Electrostatic type, there are only voltmeters are there in electrostatic instruments. Some of these meters may be used for DC as well as AC measurements. Some may be used for DC measurements only, and some for AC measurements only. Let's see what are the instruments that are used for exclusively for AC measurements and exclusively for DC measurements, and what are the measuring instruments used for both AC as well as DC measurements. Let's see DC and AC instruments. So those instruments whose deflection are proportional to the square of the current or voltage to be measured may be used for DC as well as AC measurements. See here, the deflection is proportional to the square of the current or voltage, whatever you are going to measure. That instruments are used for both AC and DC measuring instruments. The following types of instruments are used for dual purpose, and that is used for both AC and DC measurements. First one is moving iron attraction type instrument, moving iron repulsive type instrument, moving coil dynamometer type instrument, electrostatic type instrument, hot wire type instrument. All these instruments are used for both AC and DC measurements. So one more type called as rectifier instrument. That instrument is a permanent magnet moving coil instrument plus a rectifier. Is also suitable for AC or DC measurements. Permanent magnet moving coil instrument is purely for DC measurements, and that PMMC plus rectifier. Rectifier means which is used to convert AC to DC. So the combination of these two is called as rectifier instrument, and it is suitable for measurement of both AC and DC. In DC, only the coil resistance is the opposition to current flow. So in this DC instruments, only the coil resistance is the opposition to current flow. But in AC, the coil resistance and reactance will oppose the flow of current. So one scale not suit for both AC and DC readings. Some meters like rectifying type meters will have separate scale for DC and AC measurements. In rectifier type of instrument, the scale is not same for DC measurement and AC measurement. Coming to only DC instruments. In an instrument, if the deflection is directly proportional to the voltage or current to be measured, then they are suitable for DC measurements only. If we use such kind of instrument in AC circuit, the moving system will try to move forward and backward several times within a second. So it will simply vibrate and no reading will be shown. The permanent magnet moving coil meter is the one suited for DC measurements only. So PMMC is the exclusively for DC measurement. Only AC measurements. The instruments which utilize the electromagnetic induced current for producing deflection are used for AC measurements only. We know that electromagnetic induction is not possible with DC current. Therefore, induction type instruments, that may be voltmeter, ammeter and wattmeter, are used only for AC measurements. Thank you.